And then the Orange Vomit had the absolute temerity to fire back moments after Trump spoke. Moments after Biden spoke. With according to the New York Times, the first of a string of written statements issued from his Mar-a-Lago shithole. Well, the Times didn't say shithole, I did. But Trump wrote this, quote, "This political theater is all just a distraction from the fact Biden has completely and totally failed. The Democrats want to own this day of January 6th so they can stoke fears and divide America." Oh, my God. I say, let them have it, because America sees through their lies and polarizations. I'm saying it the way this dumb fuck wrote it. End quote. Oh, my God. And in the House chamber, where Nancy Pelosi finally spoke, the only Republican member on the floor for a moment of silence, marking the anniversary, was Liz Cheney. And she was joined in the front row by her father, the war criminal and former Vice President Dick, who himself was a former member of the U.S. House. And Cheney, the old man, the war criminal, the murderous fuck, Dick Cheney, was greeted cordially by Nancy Pelosi and other Democrats who have heaped lots of praise on his daughter, including me, for her courage. And you know, that was the mind-blowing part of this for me, knowing what I know, knowing what you know of the 8 years of the criminal activity by Bush and Cheney and their minions. And now all of a sudden, we have to consider Dick Cheney to some degree to be an ally in trying to remove this Nazi fuck Donald Trump. It's unbelievable what Trump has done. It's even more unbelievable that I could watch this morning and not feel the kind of wave of nausea and revulsion that I used to feel every time I saw that bald-headed fucker's face, Dick Cheney, knowing that the son of a bitch and John Yoo convinced the idiotic George W. Bush to authorize torture of people who hadn't been charged with anything. Not that that would justify torture, but turn this country into a country that allows torture on an official level of people that have been accused, just accused of doing something wrong. Not indicted, not where evidence points towards the accusation, but because, in the case of Cheney, because they were Muslim, because they were caught in Afghanistan or Pakistan or someplace. And Dick Cheney, who helped set up torture chambers all over the fucking planet, in various countries in Europe and Asia, torture houses. And now we have to look at this evil son of a bitch, Dick Cheney is real evil because he is 1,000 times smarter than Donald Trump would ever hope to be. But now all of a sudden he's got to be considered an ally because he's against junior evil? God damn, what the fuck has happened? I mean, I feel like we've, well, I can't speak for you, but I feel like I have somehow either fallen asleep and I'm wandering around in some weird goddamn dream. If that's the case, please wake up, Mike. Or reality has shifted to such a degree, especially political reality and scientific reality, has shifted to such a degree that I don't recognize it anymore. Now, by scientific reality, I mean how people, the scum suckers in this country, react to scientific reality. Jesus, God. Before Kamala Harris and Joe Biden gave their speech, Liz Cheney was on the Today Show on NBC. And she castigated her fellow Republicans for, her words, looking the other way, rather than confronting the threat represented by the Capitol attack. She said, quote, all of my colleagues, anyone who attempts to minimize what happened, anyone who denies the truth of what happened, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. History is watching and history will judge them, end quote. Ashamed of themselves? Congresswoman Cheney, I realize your war criminal father raised you, so your mind must be fucked in one way or another because you were raised by a man who made legal torture in this country. So to some degree, I don't know what degree, but some degree, you must be totally screwed up, Liz Cheney. Now, am I glad you're on the committee? Oh, absolutely. Am I glad your colleague Adam Kinzinger is on the committee? Oh, absolutely. Do I think you make any sense other than what you're saying on the committee? Fuck no. Not a bit. But I'm stuck with you. Meanwhile, over in the Senate chamber, not a single Republican senator showed up as Democrats took the floor after Biden's speech to continue making their statements about this orange vomit. Chuck Schumer was there. Schumer gave a great speech, called Trump what he is, the worst president in modern times. Oh, come on, Chuck. He's the worst fucking human being ever to hold public office, bar none. Even your buddy George Bush being a war criminal. Even your buddy Dick Cheney being another war criminal was not as filthy as Trump. They may have been bigger criminals in the fact that they advocated and supported and legalized torture. But they tried to do their crimes within the framework of the U.S. Constitution, whereas this pig, Donald Trump, wants to destroy the Constitution. Is there a difference there? I wonder. Schumer said, among other things, quote, it was Donald Trump's big lie that soaked our political landscape in kerosene. It was Donald Trump's rally on the mall that struck the match, and then came the fire, end quote. Well, okay, nice metaphor there, Chuck. But at least you didn't say now the fire's out, because it's not. It's smoldering. And it's going to flare up again. Oh. I don't know. Now, Biden, up to this point, has been reluctant, if not totally against, getting into kind of a back and forth with the orange vomit. But this morning, he used his speech, which ran about 20 minutes, to more directly blame the orange vomit than he has at all in his presidency for encouraging the violence a year ago. And then sitting back in the private White House dining room. Well, that's appropriate for the orange vomit. Probably stuffing his goddamn pie hole with cheeseburgers, right? Watching television and doing nothing for hours as cops were assaulted, lives were lost, all kinds of lives were put at risk, and the nation's capital was under siege. What did the orange vomit do? Oh, look how they love me. Look what my supporters are doing. Jesus Christ. And Biden finally, God damn it, offered the most intense rebuttal of the bullshit lies that the 2020 election was somehow stolen. And he went down and mentioned what happened here in Georgia, 3 fucking recounts of the presidential election, one of which was a recount by hand, and that still wasn't enough for these Christian Nazis. But Biden noted that these repeated recounts and court battles and inquiries had turned up nothing. 61, 62 times, up to and including the Supreme Court, the Orange Vomit tried to make some headway in his bullshit. And every single time, whatever court he was in, even ones presided over by his own appointees, told him to get the fuck out. Wouldn't even hear the case because there was nothing there. And Biden finally pointed that out. He pointed out that the Republicans didn't challenge Republican victories for Congress and the governor's mansions based on the same ballot that they claim was illegitimate. And see, the dumb fucking white people in this country who support Trump, what don't you people think? As if they're listening to this. But don't they think? I mean, a ballot that had Biden, Trump at the top. Take your pick. And then take your pick of all the down ballot races for governor, for senator, for House of Representatives. Only the top part was fraudulent, but the bottom part wasn't? You stupid son of a bitches. Stupid son of a bitches. Biden also, good on him for doing this, touched on the voting rights legislation that is stalled in the Senate thanks to this pig son of a bitch, Joe Manchin, and his little puppy dog, Kirsten Sinema. He has a separate speech on that subject scheduled for next week, according to what I have here. And as usual, the filthy fascist Christians who used to be Republicans accused Biden and the Democrats of politicizing the attack on the Capitol to promote legislation meant to benefit their party, the Democratic Party, when what is happening around the country is just the opposite. In the various states, these filthy fascist Christians are manipulating the gerrymandering the congressional districts to make sure that even if they lose an election, because of the people that they're making sure go into positions of power where it concerns counting the votes, as Stalin talked about, no, even if they lose the election, they can twist it around and make it appear that they won. And they accuse the Democrats of trying to benefit their own party. Oh, my God. And then Lindsey Bitch Graham of South Carolina on Twitter following the speech, this little prick said, quote, "What brazen politicization of January 6th by President Biden." Oh, my God. And this cowardly little fuck is the one that, after the insurrection, he said, what was it? A year ago, he said, quote, "All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough." What happened, Lindsay, you little bitch? What happened, huh? The Donald talked to you, didn't he? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.